Hi, NPM Chicago, your chapter director Keith Kalemba here. Currently I'm at St. John of the Cross here in Western Springs. I'm on the music staff here, and 2 weeks ago we started discussing how we could live stream and record our masses for our parishioners. And I realized then I really didn't know much about live streaming. I know stuff about audio, I know a little bit about video, but I basically had to start doing some research, and I'm going to show you today some of the things that we have here that I can share with the rest of my fellow musicians here in the Archdiocese. The first option you have for live streaming is probably the easiest, and that is using your iPhone. You can find these kinds of iPhone holders online, order from Amazon. In fact, what I've been doing to buy equipment recently is buying things on Best Buy because they have curbside pickup. And I pick stuff up from Burbank location or North Riverside, and they have a lot of stuff in stock. So this is a holder for the iPhone. It goes into a tripod. If you have someone in the parish who has equipment, make them your best friend and find some equipment if you don't have that. You basically put your phone into this little holder, and you can film from here and move it with the tripod. Okay, here is my Facebook page, and I'll show you how to go live. Click live in the corner there. Here we are. And the first thing two things you need to do: close these filters, or you're going to have your priest have funny faces like that priest in Italy, and then turn it to the side so that the text is landscape. And then we can put it into the mount. And when you're done, you just start the live video by pressing on the blue button. Make sure when you put it in the mount that you're not putting it on top, the mount on top of the power button if you're using an iPhone. One of the advantages of just using an iPhone and going directly to Facebook is that it's instant. People get a notification. There's really not much tech involved. One of the disadvantages is though you are limited to the sound that the iPhone can pick up. Now, St. John of the Cross isn't a very live church. There's a lot of carpeting here, but we have a pretty high ceiling, and we discovered that the sound that we were getting through the iPhone was kind of too reverberant, almost too live. So we decided that we would add a sound input into this, and I will show you how to do that in the next section.
Today is the third Sunday of Lent, and presiding at this Mass is Father Ume with Deacon Rich.
Today we celebrate the fourth Sunday of Lent. Presiding at this Mass is Father Mark Rezel.
Everyone's sound system is slightly different, but you can probably get sound out in addition to the main connections to the amplifiers that power your church speakers. You're going to look for something labeled AUX, A-U-X. There may be other sets of outputs, but let's go for AUX. You will want to connect a cable from the AUX connection to your iPhone. It just so happens that at St. John of the Cross, our AUX connections use what we call an XLR cable or mic cable. It's this three-pronged cable here. And I have this cable ending what they call an 1/8" cable. Now, iPhones vary in how you connect. A lot of them use the little lightning connection. If you have one of these for your phone, you can get a lightning connection that has the little adapter so that you can plug it in to a connection like this. And you will need an adapter for that. This one I purchased at Sam Ash in Lombard. You can probably get these on Amazon, maybe at Best Buy. It's made specifically to take an 1/8" connection to use for an iPhone, so you can not only give it input, but you can also plug headphones into it as well. You will need to take that little white dongle that has the lightning end on one end and the 1/8" on the other and plug it in, and this goes into your iPhone so the sound goes out into your iPhone. That's one way you could get the sound from your church into your iPhone so the sound is a little better. If you're planning on using a camcorder, you will need several things. One, the camera. You'll need an HDMI interface. You'll need a cord to connect the camera to the interface and a cord to connect the interface to a computer. You will need some software, and your church will need Wi-Fi if you're going to live stream. Now, this isn't as daunting as it seems. The interface is about $200. This is one I purchased. The software is free, and it doesn't take much time to set up. I came into church yesterday and was able to stream to Facebook in less than 5 minutes. You don't need to buy a new camera. This camcorder I have here is at least 10 years old, and it has the necessary connections to work. If you don't have a camera, send an email out to your parishioners to see if anyone has one that you can borrow. The camera that we're using here at St. John of the Cross is a newer one, and it has the necessary connections, and it's from one of our parishioners. Newer cameras may have more inputs and different choices. This one here has a setup for HDMI. HDMI is what you use to set things up to TVs now and game things. It's the standard. If you're not sure, check your manual of your camera. There are 3 different kinds of HDMI. There is the regular HDMI, it's a bigger plug. There is a mini, which is what this camera has. And there is a micro, which is what the camera that we are using here at St. John of the Cross has. So you'll need to check your connections and see what kind of cable you need to get. The HDMI interface, here's the issue with this right now. Because so many people are live streaming, these are actually a little hard to find. I searched on Amazon for a few different kinds, and I discovered that I couldn't get one until after Easter. Well, that doesn't really do us a lot of good if we're trying to live stream Triduum and Easter as well. I was able to find one at a Best Buy, and I went and picked it up yesterday morning. This one is made by a company called Elgato, E-L-G-A-T-O. Another company is Blackmagic, I believe. This is actually designed for video games, and it has several connections. So there's a little close-up of the HDMI interface. And if you have problems getting one, ask a parishioner. Or better yet, ask a parishioner who has a teenager who plays video games and records them. That's what this box is designed for. Here is the HDMI connection. This is where the video comes out of, and it goes into here. This connection happens to be another HDMI, and it goes out. This is what goes out to the camera. There's also a connection here for sound in. This HDMI interface has a USB output cable that came with it. This will go into most any computer. If you are like me and have this kind of MacBook, it doesn't have USB ports. It has these ports called Thunderbolt ports. And there are interfaces for that. So you just plug that right in. Now for the audio. If it is possible, I would get your audio directly from the sound system, like I showed you for the iPhone. We're using the same kind of cable, and it plugs directly into the HDMI interface. Now the sound will go into our computer. If you have a camera that has an audio input, then you would plug this directly into the camera. You will want to make sure that you disable the sound from the internal microphone on your camcorder and only have the sound come from the plug. Now that you plug the sound into your interface, you will need to set the levels. Now the levels that you set are going to be different than the levels that you set for inside the church. That's why it's on aux. You can set individual levels for different aux channels. Here we have, just as a demo, an old Mackie mixer. This is a small little mixer. And the normal volumes are on the bottom. That's what we would use to send the sound out. And then we have these aux channels, these red knobs here. And so we'll want to adjust the volume on those aux channels. If you're using aux 1, you'll just need to touch aux 1's volume. You're going to need to probably have several things amplified. The priest, if he has a wireless mic, the ambo, the cantor stand. If your piano has a mic inside, you'll want to give a little level to the piano. If you have an organ, if you have a digital organ, see if you can get sound out from the digital organ. If you have a pipe organ, you could maybe set some microphones up. If you have choir mics, we have choir mics here. You may want to turn one of those on so you can get some ambient sound of the church so that it's not so dry. And that's where you would adjust the levels. Now, if you have a digital mixer, and our mixer here is on this iPad, you can adjust the aux levels from here. What you're looking at right now is what's being sent out to the church. You can see the cantor stand, the piano has 2 mics, and we're actually using 2 regular mics to give some levels for the organ. Over here on this one, this is a Yamaha product. There is a way to get to the aux system, and you'll notice that there are different levels here compared to the other one. So you can adjust here and turn microphones on and off here, and that's only for aux 2. We just have it set this way and leave it, and then when you're done we can switch it back. Now, if all of this is way over your head, now is the time to call your sound company and have them explain how to use this. If you can find a manual, that's great, but your sound companies will be happy to help you learn how to use your digital mixer. Now onto the streaming software. On my Mac, I am running OBS. There are many different software applications out there. OBS exists for Mac, Windows, and Linux. It's free. It comes with a quick start guide and a blog, so you can do a little research. It's pretty user-friendly. Here's the OBS software. There are a couple different important things here. First thing is you need to tell the software where you're getting the signal from. Over here in the sources field, you'll see there is a camcorder and there's a camcorder mic. If you need to add your camcorder, you'll click on the plus and go to video capture device, and you'll add a device, and if your interface is on, it will show the name of the interface. Also, because this MacBook has a camera, it will show the camera that's built into the MacBook. And I added the camcorder, cancel out of that, and you can see the picture from the camcorder, which just ended. And this is important also. When you're streaming, you should also be recording on your camcorder. If you just leave it in standby, chances are it's going to shut off eventually. One of the other things you want to check on your camera is if it's sending what they call clean HDMI output. Now this camera's 10 years old and it has these little menu buttons, and I went into setup, and what I want to do is make sure that the picture that's being sent to the interface doesn't have the clock and the display and the battery and all that stuff. So make sure display is off, and see how it says external display here. I'm setting that to off. Exit. Now, even though you can see the pause button and this icon and this little icon, if you go over to the camcorder and look at the camcorder, those icons are missing because you don't want icons on top of your priest's head. We also added the camcorder mic. I actually labeled it camcorder mic, but right now it's the sound coming off of the HDMI interface. And it's just like adding any other device. You click on the plus and we're going to say audio input capture up at the top here because we're bringing the sound in. And then we can add a new one, and it also has the name of the interface there. I'm going to cancel that, and you will see, we have duplication here. You will see that you have an audio mixer here to show you that you are getting sound in. One of the other things you can do then is plug in a pair of headphones to the laptop, and you can go over here on this little icon and somewhere over here, advanced audio properties, I believe, and you can listen to the sound. There's an audio monitoring system here. Once again, if all this is way over your head, take a look at the website for OBS. There's a lot of information here, and there are tons of videos on YouTube, and some specifically designed for how to live stream for churches. This is the simplest setup. No extra pictures or titles. We just have the regular camera. In order to start streaming, you need to tell the software which website you're streaming to. In here, under settings, you'll find the streaming information. Many different streaming things here. YouTube, Facebook. Now at St. John of the Cross we're using Facebook, so we would select that. Now you see right here it says Stream Key. What you will need to do is open your Facebook account, and you will need to click on Go Live, and the information will come up, and you'll see a field that has the Stream Key, and you will copy that field and you will paste it into here. Here is the live video. You will click on that, and it will bring up the Facebook Live page. And we're going to tell it that we're using a stream key. And here is that stream key. And you can see it says copy right here. We just copy that. And then we go back over to our software. And we paste that in. Hit OK. And once the camera comes back on with set date and time, which we don't need, we will be able to hit start streaming. There also is the option to record directly to a hard drive. If your hard drive is big enough, or you have an external hard drive, you can hit start recording and we'll also make a recording. Now we're streaming. If we go back over to Facebook, you should see what it looks like in the lower right corner. But this isn't live yet, not until you click on Go Live. Once you click on Go Live, you will actually be sending the video out. And so that is live streaming in a nutshell. When in doubt, experiment. Get in touch with some parishioners who may have some equipment and some technical expertise. This is not a big investment. The HDMI interface costs $200. If you need to buy some cables to hook up, that's just $20-30 for all those cables. But keep experimenting until you get what you need. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can keep it very simple. My prayers to all of you in the Archdiocese as we navigate these uncharted waters as church musicians. I hope this helps a little bit make your Holy Week a little easier, and prayers to all of you out there. Thanks for watching.